Hey, folks. So we've got a special episode where we're going to be talking about uh, James Gunn, his DC Universe, and Justice League Unlimited. What's the link? We'll let you know after let you know in a bit. But we'll also be talking about the new teaser trailer that we got for Lanterns. And Robert's going to put his mic back on because this time he forgot it, which is it's normally me. So that's balance. That's balance to the universe, folks.
Balance the
I
force.
I was stringent. I was looking at it like I was focused, and I was like, don't forget. All right. So Robert, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, folks. Let's have some fun. Let's talk superheroes, trailers, and one of the best animated series out there.
Yep.
All right. Let's go. Hey folks, what's up? And welcome to TBA News. This is your comics culture chat special presented by the Hungry Bleak channel. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. Take that however you like.
And I am Rob the writer, and I write stuff and here to talk comics.
There we go. So folks, first off, we're gonna say thank you for being here with us, and also happy new comic book day.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff out there to go check out. So go to your local comic shop, check out what they've got going on. If you don't have a local comic book shop, go online, check for comic book shops around, order your comics. They'll ship them to you. Whoops, almost pulled my damn ear off by pulling on this cord. They'll send them to you, ship them, what have you. Some comics, like if you like variants, different covers, some comic shops will have exclusive variants as well of a cover for a comic that you might like. Check them out. Go through their list, everything. If you see something that you like that's coming up, please pre-order it. Let them know. The more pre-orders you get for certain comic, well, actually for any comic, the more that lets people know you're waiting for this, you want to read this, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
So please go check out whatever's out there. Exactly. I picked up Moonstar #1.
Oh, nice.
For Danny Moonstar. Had to check that out because I've been wanting to see. I mean, I love seeing all the X-Men get little limited runs. Yeah. So I want to check that out. I got to check out the Rogue one too because Erica Schultz is on that, and I'm a huge fan of her writing. But enough about the X-Men universe. Real quick, we're going to talk about excuse me, a teaser trailer that we got early today, which we weren't planning on, which was for DC and HBO Max original Lanterns. What'd you think, Robert?
It was a good trailer. I will say that I want to see more. I just want to see more. I remember it being mentioned a while back when the series was announced that it was going to have like a True Detective type of vibe. So I think that this exactly falls into at least the first season of True Detective. I recommend people go back and check that out. It was really good. So you have this murder mystery, or this mystery, I'm not going to say murder, but this mystery in the small town. And added to that is this vibe of, I'm trying to think of the, what was the Denzel movie? Training Day. Kind of like Training Day,
yes,
except without the corrupt cop and all that. So there were things that were different considering the history of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan that I had to kind of accept and understand better. I think the show looks good, especially for the vibe that they're going for, at least the tone. But I want to see more because it's a teaser. There are a lot of questions that were unanswered, and I'd be very interested to see how this fits into like the larger Gunn Safran verse that they're building. So it was enough that it kind of captured my interest, piqued my interest. I think the thing that I keep kind of going back and forth with is I'm Green Lantern for me works really well when it's in space. So it's going to take a little kind of getting adjusted to this being kind of a Terran or Earth-based story. But I'm, like I said, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm definitely hyped to see the series. But this definitely does kind of push forth the idea that this is Earth-based. And so I, I want to see more. I'll say it, say it like that. And what's weird is like I love genre mashups. So you have this like space opera kind of cop kind of cop duo space vibe to it, and then the True Detective. But I don't know, for some reason it was just like I had more questions than answers. So but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I said, I want to check it out. I haven't been the highest on it just because I don't know everything about it. The teaser trailer was nice. I liked it. I liked seeing a more a dustier, more worn
Mm-hmm.
um, GL suit that it's been through things. I mean, it's been in space. You know what I mean? It's been through things. So I like seeing that. I like the kind of grizzled, world weary worlds, actually galaxies weary. Um, Kyle versus like the upstart here. Yes, I like the matchup. I like their chemistry. It seems nice on camera. I like
Yeah.
in the trailer, it looks good. But I'm gonna reserve what more thought for when more things come out. Please do not drown us in trailers. I
Yeah.
do not do that. You get two more, but don't tell us everything. Obviously, just keep it vague as hell. Don't give us everything. Please don't.
Well, that, and one thing that I mentioned this in our chat before was that this wasn't even supposed to come out today. At least that's the way that Warner Brothers had presented it. They released like a teaser image saying teaser trailer coming tomorrow, and then they said, well, because you guys asked for it, let's just drop it today. So I was just like, was that the plan always, or did they hear the people like foaming at the mouth because they wanted to see it? So I don't know. I mean, it was a fun little piece of marketing, because they just released it a day early, at least based on what they said. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how this kind of grows the Gunverse, and and lanterns and period. I'd be very interested to see what like diehard lantern fans thought about it, just to kind of see if it kind of links up with what they're expecting or what they're wanting. So
I doubt it is because I think if they're more like diehard Lantern fans, they probably want it in space.
yeah.
But we'll see where we're going with it. This is the beginning. We could end up starting here,
Yeah.
and we could be maybe 2 seasons down, and we could have like the Lantern War.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. So I would say if you're a diehard Lantern fan, just check it out at first to see
Yeah.
how you feel about it. Give it like a couple episodes because I know sometimes if you're a really diehard fan of something, it takes you time to get into something that might not fit where you think they should have started off at. So give it a couple episodes. If it really isn't for you, just don't watch. I'm not the type of person to tell you to hate watch. Do not. I don't want you to hate watch anything. Watch, read, play, do what you enjoy. Don't hate watch anything. But it's interesting. It actually made me want to watch Rebel Ridge again, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Between this and I was watching Miami Vice this morning, like young Don Johnson. So I was like, and then this came on. I was like, so this is basically telling me to watch Rebel Ridge tonight, which is not a bad thing because I enjoy that movie. So that's cool. So yeah, we'll be checking out more of that. I think it was a good idea that they did it on a Wednesday because again, it's New Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And just drop the trailer. Just drop it. You don't have to go. You don't have to do all that stuff, especially because I know WB, you got a lot going on right now. You got a lot going on right now. Maybe somebody missed the email. Maybe there was a wrong date typed. I don't know. There's a lot going on over there. Just drop the trailer. Y'all got enough on your plates and on your desks. Maybe there's stuff not on your desk anymore. Maybe it's in a box. I don't know. A lot of changes going on over there. Just drop the trailer. It's cool. Don't just say, hey, and the trailer drops now, and then just drop it. Don't. It's enough. It's enough. You make enough money where you can just drop the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Just do that. Speaking of dropping trailers, which is not a really good segue for what I'm about to say, but I don't care.
It was an excellent segue.
It's the jankiest segue. That segue was held together by Spit, Hopes and Prayers, and Shoestring that was set on fire about 7 years ago and halfway put out. I'm gonna be honest with you. So this is the meat of today's episode. We're gonna be talking about Gunn's universe and Justice League Unlimited animated series. Now, this was Robert's idea. So, Robert, what made you come up with this idea for an episode?
So one of the ever since we got the announcement about the the relaunch of the DC universe on film and on TV, um, I've wondered specifically with Justice League, are they going to go kind of the opposite route that we had with the Snyderverse? Say what you will about the Snyderverse. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It definitely has its pluses and minuses. But the one thing that we can always agree on is that it was very kind of serious in tone,
Mm-hmm.
darker, I guess. With I was trying not to use just that word. Um, and so what that question was answered when at least for me, when I watched Superman this past year, and the at least part of it was because the vibe that I get from Gunn's universe or Gunn Safran's universe is that this is going to be a little bit more brighter, right? At least with it, well, depending on who on who's doing, who's working on the film or the TV show, because like now Supergirl and Lanterns look completely divergent from Superman, but at least with Superman, it had a vibe of what we used to watch with um, the DC animated universe, so the Timverse or the Diniverse, whatever you want to call it. And I started wondering, are they looking at, as much as Warner Brothers and DC will look at their source material for these movies and TV shows, would Gunn and whoever else works on the Justice League, would they look at the animated series, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited? Because the vibe and the storytelling that I remember from the animated series kind of links up with what we got in Superman. And not just because there was a Justice Gang, kind of Justice League adjacent group in there. I felt at times watching that like I did when I was watching Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. So, I'm just wondering if would they, are there things that they would specifically pull from those two animated series, but also are there specific storylines that we would get in the live action version of the Justice League, which will eventually hopefully be coming down the line. So I wanted to pitch this idea of going through some of our favorite episodes and discussing what Mike Gunn or any other directors or writers pull from some of our favorite episodes, some of the more defining episodes for us when it comes to this to both Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. So but that's kind of where my mind was with coming up with this idea.
Yeah, well, what's something that you would like for them to pull from the Justice League Unlimited animated series?
So one of the biggest things is the color. I just like
Mhm.
I want things like as much as I enjoyed the Snyderverse and the dark vibe that they were going with, I like color like popping. I like things to be kind of bright and kind of shiny to a certain extent. And though I think Justice League and Justice League Unlimited kind of played within the darker storytelling from time to time, one of the things that pops is like Flash's red outfit, John Stewart's green and black outfit, the stars and, well, not the stars and stripes, but Wonder Woman's, just like the uniforms in general, but just that world that they were playing in, or that those shows were set in, just they weren't like Batman the Animated Series, which had more of kind of a noir, dark vibe. This one was just like, these are the pages of comics coming to life. So one of the things that I would love to see them bring is just that kind of vibe. But even with that lighter vibe, at least with the color palette or how the things are shot and then maybe the costumes and all that, you still have the serious storytelling when it's needed. So that was like one thing that I remember seeing with Superman throughout that movie. Like, especially like when you have the scenes with the Justice Gang with Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hawk or Hawk Woman. I think it was Hawk Woman. And the colors just popped. It was very, I mean, keep saying this, it was very colorful. So that is definitely like one thing that I would like for them to bring from the animated series to any iteration of Justice League that they decide to do, in the Gunverse.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It fits right with how Gunn seems to like to. I mean, like see what he's been doing so far, as far as even like the Creature Commandos. Obviously, it's a cartoon, but still, it's very
Yeah,
bright color
yeah,
animated. But even Superman, like you said, it translates very well. Even uh, Peacemaker,
yeah.
even though it is a more mature, darkly toned show, it still has a nice balance of the brightly colored
Hmm.
costumes and everything, but still in that serious kind of dark tone. And sometimes they even shifted a bit too, where the costumes are dirty to almost exemplify that some more darker toned um, scene or set or what have you. So I
Yeah.
like that. For me, I'm gonna go into characters and relationships and such. For me, I want the question,
Okay.
Big Sage. One of my favorite parts of this series. Now, I only got to watch like 12 episodes between yesterday and today because of work and life and such, what have you.
Yeah.
But I remember so much. Within the 12 episodes, I was like, you could do so much with just that first season. You could do so
Hmm.
much. There's so much there. But this is one of the characters that truly grabbed me. Gunn has a great way of taking, and this is no offense to the characters, obviously, but C, D, like characters you don't really think about
Hmm.
and pulling them forward. That's a great way of doing that. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a great example. Nobody was thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, but nobody was thinking about them. Then the movie came out, and people were like, "Oh, who are these? Who are they?" They even got so popular where they brought back the other team of the Guardians
Hmm.
and put them in a movie along with the modern iteration of the Guardians. That's how popular they were. So I would love to see that for Vic Sage. Also, to have a character who is this obsessive detective conspiracy theorist person, but also has this incredibly dark humor and deadpan, no pun intended because you don't see the face anyway, but deadpan delivery. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember the actors from Jeff Combs, I want to say.
Jeffrey Combs. Yeah. Jeffrey
Yeah,
Combs.
Jeff Combs.
Yeah.
You know him from The Reanimator, Star Trek, uh, the DS9. I'm trying to think of what else he's done. So many things.
4400.
Yeah, yeah, 4000.
He was the
I mean, this dude
original
has
one.
been in so much of our genre stuff. One of the best, one of my favorites, and he does the voice work so well. Like, there's a point where I think they were talking about it was the episode where he first makes his appearance for the JLU in the anime
Hmm.
series, and it's him, it's Green Arrow, and it's Supergirl. And Green Arrow says, "Oh, well, the dream might have been, her eating, a hamburger. I don't know exactly know, hamburger, something like that." And as the questions walked out of the room, he goes, "Well, she had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for dinner." And she goes, "How did you know? Did you go through my trash?" He goes, "I go through everyone's trash." And it's the space and the delivery of, as we say, hoof. I don't look through your trash. We go, hoof. I look through everyone's trash. And then there's a point. I think this scene that I'm showing right now, he actually is looking through someone's trash.
Hmm.
They even make a comment at one point about his body odor and if he washes and I think he says something like, "I didn't have time because I was trying to figure something out." I also think he could be the linchpin between everything. I know we think it's Peacemaker, but I think he could be the linchpin to connect everything because he is a conspiracy theorist and he connects dots. I think he can connect all of the different movies and series, like whatever you want to do. With that. Also, what I'll say is it's Gunn's type of humor as well.
Yeah.
Dark, the comedic timing has. I don't know who you would cast. I was thinking about that, but I couldn't think of anyone. But I think this is a character that definitely. I know it's kind of odd to start with again a B and C and D level character, but that's what Gunn specializes in
Yeah.
with something like this. I mean, it's just this is just it's just one of my favorite parts. And when he showed up, I said, "Thank God, yes." I had forgotten how much I love Jeffrey Combs as the Quest. Does such an amazing job with it. I'm absolutely just floored by his delivery, timing, and I love the fact that while Supergirl and Green Arrow are fighting, he like he's still like being obsessive, but he's kind of fighting. Like he sneaks up on a guy and like picks him up and like punches him in the head or something like that, and then drops him. He doesn't actually do the fisticuffs and everything like that on the show. Maybe something that might be kind of cool to see in a movie. Him actually doing something like something with that can focus on him. There are other moments that I'll be bringing up that he kind of is part of, but yeah, this is a character I definitely think that they should be spotlighting.
I love it.
You know.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say, so one thing that I think that with Justice League, any movies that are made, they should be grand in scope, right? You know, that's kind of the vibe that we got with all of the Avengers movies, is that something major is happening. So one of the things that I love about Justice League and Justice League Unlimited is that they were able to balance telling those stories about kind of like, let's say, smaller, kind of smaller crimes or smaller missions, and then they would go big. I remember like in the first seasons, they would have some of the stories kind of divided up between 2 episodes or 3 episodes, and then like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then Justice League Unlimited. The season finales always felt like they were like 3 parts, right? They were always like the last 3 episodes. So it kept getting kind of grander and grander and building. So one of the things that one of the episodes I wanted to highlight was, let me see if I can get this title right. The Savage Time. Yeah, the Savage Time. And I think the Savage Time is a really good example of the scope, the massive scope of Justice League, the Justice League Unlimited, Justice League animated series, and how that could be reflected in a like Gunn directed or whoever directed Gunverse Justice League movie. And there's the image up.
Oh, bring it up for you.
So one of the things that specifically for this, it is, it's I don't know if we necessarily need to keep going back to the time travel side of things, but I think that the thing that this episode shows is once again the epic scope of what you can get in an animated episode, because you have an alternate history that is created where the Third Reich is or just like the Nazis are running the world. And so you have time travel, you have alternate dimensions, you have alternate universes. And then also you have a bit of social commentary because the Justice League is literally fighting Nazis. So it's this thing of you can't contain something like this to if you wanted to, like a TV series, but it would like kill the budget. So I don't know if this is something that is kind of divided up over like 2 movies, but the thing that I take from this is just the scope of the story that they're telling. And the other episode that if I can bring it up, is trying to get my titles right.
Justice Lord.
Yeah, A Better World. From Justice League season 2, episodes 11 and 12. And once again, the scope, you have the massive scope. And funny enough, both of these episodes focus on like either an alternate history or alternate universe. And in this universe, you have our mainstream mainline Justice League battling against the Justice Lords. And once again, massive in scope. It definitely probably does play with the whole alternate, with the multiversity of it all, or multiverse of it all. But this is the type of epicness that I want to see taken from the animated series and brought over to whatever movies that we get, whatever Justice League movies that we get. I know, like, the ones that people probably reference most is when Darkseid, made his appearance, and then we had the build up to the Cadmus, and I'm pretty sure we'll focus on that. But these are like 2 episodes, which I think also highlight how big these stories could get. And we can, it would be great to see them, brought forth on the big screen, because I want to have as many Justice League movies as we do Avengers movies. So yeah, so just to, like I said, the scope of this and, even the massive battles and the storytelling, I think would work pretty well, coming from the animated verse to live action.
Yeah, that's a big. Justice Lords was such a. I'm just a sucker for alternate dimension, alternate reality, ultimate
Yeah.
universe costume changes. I'm just like I'm sucker for that to see why they changed, and they never go lighter. It's always darker and more visceral. I'm like, maybe change up the neckline, just any like just like just free up your neck a little bit. It's never anything like that. It always goes like leather, some like BDS, some kind. Not that I'm for that, obviously, but it's just always funny that they just choose to always go. Well, no, actually, Superman goes with almost like a lighter, but his is more monotone suit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I actually like that suit a lot. That's crazy. For me, again, relationships and characters, Green Arrow and Black Canary.
Yes.
One of the best things about this series was their connection. One of the best things about the Unlimited series in general are the connections, not just romantic, but also platonic and friends. Like you have like Hawk and Dove, which we had only that was the first time seeing them animated, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got them in Titans.
Yeah.
But just those connections from characters. I love this one just because it was so cool and it was two brawlers. And I chose this picture in
Mm-hmm.
particular because
Mm-hmm.
Black Canary is one of the best fighters in the DC universe. There was a series last year which was a Black Canary Unlimited series where it was her fighting Lady
Lady.
Shiva.
Yeah.
Each issue was a round, and then you begin to find out the backstory of the fight, why it's happening. One of the coolest things, and I absolutely loved it. I loved her being teamed up with Deathstroke. It was a
Mm-hmm.
very short series. People really didn't read it, I guess, but I loved it, and they kind of cut it short. Their co-mingling, but I absolutely love that because I'm a fan of black. I'm a fan of female characters
Mm-hmm.
that are brawlers, that are fighters, and that can beat a man's ass. I absolutely love that. I like because she can beat Batman's ass, not even without the scream. She can do it, and in the series, you see her fighting more than using the scream, which I love. I'd also love to see maybe at some point like her mother,
Yeah.
talking to Dinah, what have you. And then we have Ollie, Green Arrow. Um, I'd love to see another comic book Archer out here aside from Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I think I'm more a fan of Green Arrow just because of the way he is. Also, I'm a fan of this particular Green Arrow because he is voiced by Kit Schreiner. If you know me, you know I'm not just a comic book geek, but I'm also a General Hospital geek. And Kit Schreiner plays the character of Scotty Baldwin on General
Okay.
Hospital. So, and I didn't know that until I looked at it because I kept hearing his voice. And I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And I found out, I was like, oh, wow, that endeared the character more to me. But seeing their relationship grow from episode 1 and the little remarks and things that you see from Ollie, like he'll give her like a little glance and it's almost like he's trying to work his way up to asking her out or talking to her, which is actually kind of like kind of cute and kind of endearing as well. And then seeing their relationship grow throughout the series, knowing their huge tumultuous history in comics. And I'd love to see them fighting together as a duo. I love seeing teams or duos that actually fight together on screen,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's animated, live action, what have you. One of my favorite X-Men movies is Days of Future Past because in the very beginning you see the X-Men or that team of X-Men actually fight as a team.
Team. Yeah.
They don't fight separately; they fight as a team. They use each other's powers together. One of the most awesome things possible. I forget which Batman movie it was, but you see Batman and Nightwing fighting together, and the fight is so good because they've been training for years together.
Under the Red
And
Hood.
under red, no, it's well, no, that one, but there's another one, a
Okay.
more recent one, because it's one
Okay.
where he has longer hair.
Okay.
It might be the one where it might be Bad Blood,
Okay.
maybe. But you see them fighting together, and he's not. It's just a training. He doesn't have to be Robin again. It's just they know each other's moves backwards, forwards, the timing, everything. So I want to see that with them. I want to see them brawling in the arrows and fighting with and every. I really truly want to see that. Please, please cleanse my palate of Arrow. I'm not trying to be funny with that, but I want a different Green Arrow than that.
Yeah.
But the relationships are a big thing about JLU altogether because this is a huge
Mm-hmm.
team that has to rely on each other. So they need that. So yeah, this would be something I definitely want to see them together on screen. Please, please,
Yeah.
please, please.
That'd be amazing. I want leftist Ollie. I want,
Yes,
I want
yes.
woke Ollie. That's what I want. I don't want like what you call a taciturn or tactiturn, whatever. Stephen Amell, where he doesn't have a political leaning. I want him
No,
like spouting leftist agenda, liberal
yeah,
Ben and Jerry's. I want
because at
Ben and
some
Jerry's
point,
Ollie.
yeah, because at some point you got to have almost like a hard traveling heroes thing
Mm-hmm.
where you have to have Arrow and Lantern, and because they were traveling similar to how Lantern is like
Yeah.
traveling, no powers, no ring, nothing, just them. And I read that series and I was so caught off guard. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was on a plane at one point, and I happened to see Danny O'Neill on the plane,
Oh
and
wow.
I had just read it or I was reading it. I don't remember, and I was like, oh wow. And it was one of the coolest things ever, and it made that more to me because I had read it. I watched a documentary years ago about like comics. I think it was on AMC at one point, something like that, about like comics, and he had a big part in that and they were talking about hard traveling heroes
Hmm.
and everything. So yeah, that would be awesome to me.
Awesome. So you know me, space opera. No, so one of the things that I would want specifically for Justice League to do, we talked about the epic scope. I want it to get away from Earth. Because one of the things that I think that series did very well is it broadened the scope, both Justice League and both Justice League Unlimited. It We went to space, like we went to space a lot, and it's this thing of right now, go big or go home. So if you are acquiring, let's just bring it to present day, if you are a certain company that's acquiring another company for billions of dollars, I need to see that shown on the big screen. And one of the ways that you show that is by taking some of the properties where the story fits to space. And Justice League Unlimited, their animated series, they can do that, just like comic books. You can take people, because the budgets aren't as insane. Like animation definitely costs a lot of money, but live action, it would be like even more insane. But what I think that you should do, because Justice League in the comic books and in the animated series, take them to the farthest reaches of universe. We've had episodes that focused on the Green Lantern Corps, where John Stewart, and this one, Hearts and Minds, went to help his former mentor, Captain Matui. And we were, I can't remember the name of the planet, but we went to like a far-flung planet that was nowhere near Earth. And this episode, this is Star-Crossed. I don't know why this got smaller. Even though this was an Earth-based story, the cool thing about this is that the Thanagarians showed up in force and mass from the planet Thanagar. We had epic space battles and between the Justice League and the Thanagarians when they invaded our planet. So the scope that you get, I want to see more space opera mixed in with Justice League, just as much as we're celebrating something like Lanterns, which it's a cop drama, mixed in with a little bit of like sci-fi. I think that we can mix in a superhero adventure with space opera. I mean, we've seen that. We mentioned with something like Guardians of the Galaxy, and what Guardians has done itself was a vehicle to open up the cosmic side of things a little bit more than we had with some of the other MCU series. So we had the Eternals, which was kind of like more the cosmic side of things. We had Captain Marvel, which was more on the cosmic side of things. So I hope that we can do that in Justice League, but have Justice League kind of begat the cosmic side of the cosmic side of the DC universe, which we saw with the animated series. I think we saw Granny Goodness, we saw the Furies. I think we saw a bit of Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle, the Fourth World, Jack Kirby stuff.
Yeah.
And this was all in Justice League. This was all between Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and especially, like I mentioned, Darkseid. So let's get some space opera, with the live action Gunverse Justice League, like we had with the animated series.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely be getting that. I think with the live action series, so we talked about this for a couple of seconds. I think it's going to start on Earth, but like I said, it could end up, wherever at a certain point. So I mean, they're going to get there because they always did balance. I mean, literally the cosmos and space with hell. They literally went from one end to the other. They literally went there. So I think they will do it. I mean, it's just going to be the characters that they put in there, or how they're going to get it in. But if they go with this more Justice League Unlimited kind of feel and vibe, they had everybody there.
Yeah.
If you look at any frame when they're on the Watchtower, everybody's there. Literally, I mean, and they're the coolest thing is that it's like a workplace. They're like just it's in the cafeteria. They've got like trays. I saw a Wildcat, and you know it's Wildcat because it was like the suit and everything. You see his hands taped. You don't see his face, but it's just him walking by. And I was like, that's a great if that was a movie, that would be oh my God, did you see they would lose their minds? But when it's animated, it's a little more relaxed. You're like, oh, there's Wildcat there. But you see him carrying like a cafeteria tray. I think he had like a wrapped up sandwich and like a carton of milk. I mean, obviously it's Wildcat, so that's the joke there. But carrying that. And you see them sitting there eating and having like cafeteria conversations as if you were at work or even in high school. Like at one point, they're talking about like crushes and dating and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're having those. So they'll have that. I mean, that's a perfect blend of it's out in space, but you're having this grounded conversation like that. So I think they will have that. It will just they'll have to work it into it. But once they get to the Watchtower, which who knows when, because we're not really getting origin stories, which I also love. Thank you very much. But I think that's great. Speaking of Watchtower, for me, Mr. Miracle.
Yes.
Mr. Miracle made such a huge impact in Spider-Man, in Superman, that people who didn't know the character were like, oh my God, who is this? People who knew the character were like, absolutely yes. Awesome. Mr. Terrific is just such a cool character. And I absolutely love the portrayal. One of the coolest fight scenes with him barely throwing any punches and using the T-spheres like you would expect. Or not expect, truthfully, because I didn't know that they could do the things that he was doing with them, which made it even better. Which is what I love. Show me what I know I'm going to get, then surprise me with what I didn't even think was possible.
Yeah.
You know, like capture my imagination, and then multiply it by 30, and I'm good. That's a beautiful thing to do. One of the things now, do not keep him just in the Watchtower.
Yeah.
Unless you have stories that are based on Watchtower, which I'll bring up something later that was based in the Watchtower. But I think the way that he was the nerve center, he was the one, him and the Martian Manhunter, because they took shifts. Yeah. I don't know when their shifts were. It's in space, so I don't know day and night. I don't know, folks. I no idea. But I love the fact that he was like the nerve center, and he was coordinating ships and this and that and what have you. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter was using more of his like telepathy to communicate with everyone. So I love that fact. And seeing how he wasn't, I'm not all into people's emotions and stuff. And I love the fact that he was so straightforward with everything and guiding it, showing that fact. There was a story, The Question had a miniseries last year where it was based on the Watchtower.
Okay.
And what Question had a team. It was Blue Beetle. I want to say Mr. Terrific. I can't remember. And Batwoman. I'll get into that in like the next choice or such. But I love something like that. Have like a mystery or some type of story where it was like a murder mystery type of thing on the Watchtower. And it had like almost kind of a Western feel because the Question was like the sheriff trying to figure it out. He even had like this like kind of gun that looked like almost like a Henry rifle. If you're familiar with rifles, you know, almost like a Henry repeater rifle. And I love that. Mr. Terrific just had great scenes, gobbled them up. Again, dark humor, timing is on point. We got more of that humor in Superman than we did in the animated series. But if you bring that in, again, Gunn does that very well. You bring that in, that suit pops, absolutely. Give me the suit and give me some more of Mr. Miracle just being that center, saying no, this. And when they say, well, what do you think about? No, we need to go here. This is what we got to do. This, and being that tactician, show why Mr. Miracle is, you know, one of the smartest people on the planet. Show why I'm Mr. Goddamn Terrific. Show them why. You know what I mean? That line where he took my man, he's like, I never seen somebody mugged so hard in my life. He basically that mug basically said, on God, if you don't get out my way. He told that man, and I absolutely love that. So yeah, Mr. Miracle, in the field, yes, but also on the watchtower. Show both sides,
Yeah,
that duality of the character, because we've seen what he can do in the field. Awesome, show he can do there, and give us a blend, which would be beautiful.
that'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, another thing that this is more so on the Justice League Unlimited side because we didn't expand the roster until that series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want some unique pairings. So
Yeah.
I think one of the things that Unlimited did very, very, very well is that you had episodes where a lot of the episodes where the original seven weren't at front and center. So you had opportunities to see, pairings like Green Lantern, Supergirl, and Captain Atom here. I think in this is, I want to give some episodes so people can go and check these out. Justice League Unlimited season 1, episode 1, initiation.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my, I, I'm trying to talk with over a cold, and also Green Arrow isn't pictured here. I should have found a picture with all 4 of them. But one of the cool things about Justice League Unlimited was having these groups of characters that you never would have expected to work together, being paired up so that they could save the day, and just do their super heroic things. In this case, we have John, who is, he's more the leader. You have Supergirl, who's the hothead, at least the way she's depicted here. And then we have, or like kind of the youthful, the youngest of the group trying to prove herself. And then Captain Atom, who is very military, straight by the book and all that. And then also Ollie, who is off camera or panel here, watching them interact in this one episode was just kind of like a clash of ideas and how each of these heroes operated. I want to see that in live action. I think we got a little bit of that, actually a bit of that with the Justice Gang and Superman with Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and then in Hawk Girl. Is it Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman? I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
I want to say they called her Hawk Girl, but in a certain point she said Hawk Woman, and I think one of them did call her Hawk Woman. So I think by the end it was Hawk Woman, but I think it started out as Hawk Girl.
Gotcha. So Hawk Woman, and then Metamorpho by the end of it. So you saw how those clashing ideals, they would, work together to once again save the day. So that is something that I want to see carried over from the animated series into a live action series. And I think with some of the pairings that we've spoken about, like you said, Black Canary and Ollie, one of the other ones was the Question and the Huntress. And there might have been some other big ones that I'm forgetting now, but yeah, I want to see that, the unique pairings as we grow the roster of the Justice League in live action.
You don't have to give one episode. They all did that, which is the beauty of it. Because you would get maybe like 2 of like one of the original 7.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the boys, but like the original 7 of Justice League. And then one of the unlimited characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's why I said the way that Gunn does it, I mean, it's like made for him because he does that well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at his movies and he'll put like his comic book related movies and he'll put these people together randomly. You might not know who that person is at first. They might just say the name.
Yeah.
And he'll work around to another way. Like he'll do that well. So I think that's perfect way for him to do it. That was another great pairing too. Was the Question, Vic Sage and Helena Bertinelli.
Yeah.
I think Huntress. They had the great, and it's not a pairing I would have thought of, but 2 wild cannons. Mm-hmm. Who's going to do the wilder thing?
Yeah, and they had some of the best episodes.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs just doing the work, man. Jesus, that guy. Speaking of the Question, I want to have also Renee Montoya's.
Yes,
the Question. At a certain point, Vic Sage dies, and Montoya, who is a disgraced Gotham City cop, recovering alcoholic as well, ends up becoming the new Question. I think I want to see Vic Sage, but I want them somehow to transition into Renee being a part of it. Show her as being this disgraced cop, and this is her redemption, trying to get herself back, being who she was. You can also blend it, like I was saying, the limited series that was available last year. I mean, it's still available, but it came out in 2025. Was focused on the question persona, and her relation, and her relationship with Batwoman, who they were a couple for the longest time. I think that's a great thing to have. I love Montoya's the question from what I read, because she's getting into. She's not as obviously compulsive or obsessive as Vic Sage, but she's a detective, and she was a great detective. She just became an alcoholic. Like it overtook her, so she's finding her way back. It's a great way for her to find her way back and to become this person. I think it's great. And like you're saying, you have the way of bringing in Batwoman, showing that, and her series was based in the Watchtower. So again, her Mr. Terrific, again, like you just previously said, you have those odd pairings that you can put together.
Mm-hmm.
So think, excuse me, that's one that I definitely want to see. And as you can see from this picture, the the gun is on her back. That's the gun.
Nice.
That's how it was, and it has the ability to, if you shoot someone, it sends them to like this cell in the Watchtower.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
she was like a sheriff. It was similar to, when I watched it, it reminded me almost of Deep Space Nine,
Mm-hmm.
because you have this floating community in space,
Mm-hmm.
similar to how Cisco was like the new, sheriff in town,
Yeah.
riding in on a horse after his town was destroyed, like similar to like a western. It
Yeah.
has that feel. Again, the way they're able to blend western and space adventure, space opera,
Mm-hmm.
is great, because they're on different ends of the spectrum,
Yeah.
but to find so many similarities between them is cool. So I loved seeing that, and you can even see, even in the pose she's kind of doing, she's kind of like a gunslinger, sheriff, what have you. But I love that. So yeah, bring me Renee Montoya. I know we got her in Birds of Prey,
Hmm.
um, by Rosie Perez was actually playing her.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we know, and no offense to Rosie, I love Rosie. I've been down with you since Soul Train. I've been down with you since In Living Color. I've been Mookie. I've been down with you since Do the Right Thing. I love you. Uh, Thank you so very much for everything you've done. But I just think, yeah, just go a different route. There's someone who I would have cast at her, but they cast already, but she's already got something going on. So that's cool. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she's who I would want to see, is that question.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't know if I could fit one in, like another,
Yeah, yeah.
one. So
We'll all
I
fit one
am,
more in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'll make it quick. Just keep with the big baddies, big, but
Mm.
also look at people that haven't been used as much. Let's
Yes,
go
please.
Vandal Savage.
Mm.
I'm just like, I know we've had a live action, and I enjoy the live action Vandal Savage and the Arrowverse, but let's dig into these. We can always get Darkseid, and I know, like, I was about to say Jason Momoa, James Gunn has said that that is something that they're not going the Darkseid route, at least for now. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
no,
that
no.
there are other big bads that they can pull from, within, that have been shown on the
Mm.
DC animated, or at least the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series. And like I said, the biggest for me would be Vandal Savage. I would love to see him be that man out of time, that immortal who is making life difficult for all of the Justice League members. And also, let's finally get a live action on screen version of the Legion of Doom, in a
Mm.
Justice League movie. So if we're gonna go to the big screen, let's go bigger and badder. But yeah, those are two that at least jump out at me, as far as for like the villain route that we can go. And I know there are a lot of them out there that I'm forgetting, at least from those series, but those are two that come to mind.
Yeah, yeah, that no, yeah, a live action Vandal Savage would be good. I do want to see some people from Apocalypse. Like I want to see a Mr.
Yeah,
Miracle. I want to see a Big Bard. I want to see the Furies,
yeah,
Granny Goodness. But it's almost like if you show them, people are going to be expecting Darkseid like in the next hour or whatever. So that's the downside to it. But I think if they do it, well, there is another Mr. Miracle as well.
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
I mean, a Black Escape artist. God, that's
Shiloh, right?
yeah, Shiloh. I forget. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The Brandon Easton.
yeah.
There's actually two of them. There's the comics, the limited comic series that they had, and there's like a graphic novel, like young adult book as well.
Okay.
About the same character, but I forget the name for you. But yeah, that's awesome. For me, my last one is Hawk Girl / Hawk Woman.
Mhm.
One of the best things about Justice League Unlimited is the redemption arc of Shiera Hall. Um, Finding out about being, this double agent,
Mhm.
and the Thanagarian War and how it just ravages, excuse me, not just Earth but also the relationships of the League
Mhm.
and of her and John. One of the most poignant, one of the most it just was so you weren't expecting it
Yeah.
after what, like 2 seasons, you weren't expecting
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
and how it carried over into Unlimited was great. I want that so badly. Um, I watched that episode of it's Dr. Fate in the I don't know what they call his home. Um and her reveal. And I loved her
Yeah.
being in the workout gear
Yeah.
suit. Like, I don't know how else to call it. I actually like that change. Like, she doesn't feel worthy, or she wants to
Yeah.
change herself and not be associated with the Thanagarian war and that cop uniform in essence.
Yeah.
And which is funny because they're both like cops. Green Lantern, and like they're both like these like interstellar cops kind of feel, which I absolutely love. Um, I don't know how you would do it, but I know Isabella Merced, who I would have loved to have been Montoya, but she's maybe
Yeah.
25. So I think if you're going to do a Montoya, make her about 30, 35. You want her to be a little older,
Mhm.
being this like, experienced cop, what have you. I would love to see that arc with her. Um, I loved her vulnerability from watching uh, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But I also love her being able to quip like Shire, but
Mhm.
also being able to fight. I want to see her with that mace go all
Mhm.
out, just be brutal. Because I don't know who's more bloodthirsty, her or Wonder Woman, but I love that. So yeah, Shire Hall, that whole Thanagarian arc, I think is just one of the best things in animated
Mhm.
fare. Honestly, yeah. So give me that.
Yep.
So I mean, we could do this for probably about as long as Justice League Unlimited ran, truthfully, which is 3 seasons. But those are just a few of the things that we found, folks. But look, if you're a fan of Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, the animated series, what would you like to see Gunn take in? What would you like to see him cherry pick from those series? There's so much to choose from between heroes,
Mhm.
baddies, secondary characters. Even there's a lot there. Setting, storylines. There's so much there. I mean, Grudge Match. I forgot to talk about Grudge Match. One
I
of the
had it.
best episodes,
I had it queued up.
dude. Dude, that one was, yes, absolutely. Because when I saw the
Yeah.
pictures of, I was like, yo, that's one of the best episodes.
Yep.
Let them haul out. Because you
Mhm.
know what I love? I love a woman just whooping ass, fists and everything. Awesome. But what would you like to see? What's something that you would want to see again there? I mean, let us know. Character, setting, whatever it is. There you go.
Yep.
So on that note, we've had a lot of fun with this one. This one was pretty cool. We talked about a Lanterns teaser.
Mhm.
We talked about Justice League Unlimited and Gunn. Now, everything you see that's in Gunn's universe that we picked out, it was us. Run us our check, Gunn. Run us that check. I'm not playing, dude. We're giving you guys some of the best stuff possible as far as ideas for these movies. Seriously. So on that note, I am
Mhm.
Antonio Palmares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. Take that however you like.
And I am Rob the writer, Jay, the writingest man in the industry.
But there you go. Folks, I will see you this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hungry Bleak Show. I will be giving some reviews. And in one of those reviews, I'll be stepping on my soapbox a little bit and chastising some people, possibly. I don't know. Gee, me doing that. Who would have ever thought? I don't know. And next week, again, we will have our episodes on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All this month, we will be giving you the good stuff, the best stuff, the only stuff that we know how to do, which is the fun stuff. That's it. All right. So you all have a very good evening or day, excuse me. Enjoy the rest of it. Please be safe. Drink water. Take your vitamins. Take your meds for whatever mental, physical, or emotional ailment you have. And we'll see you next time. All right. As always, fuck Trump and abolish ICE. And fuck the Baptists as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. See y'all later. Peace.
Bye.